Yo.
Welcome back to Be Rad the Pod. I suppose we're doing this, even though I said we should wait, but honestly, that was pretty good. We're culturing our audience to the spam musubi. Honestly, pretty good running food. I ate a bunch of musubis for a 36-mile run last fall. I just basically brought 4 musubis. Worked pretty well. Wouldn't recommend at a race like Western States, but...
Babe, this spam musubi, I bought it from the girls' lemonade stand on the corner of the street. Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Nice. It looks good.
It's this is Hawaiian superfood right here. This will get you through at least 3 hours of energy.
Yeah, maybe not 3 hours, I don't think.
Okay, I'm going back on mute to house this musubi right now.
I think it's probably 2 hours. I think actually Hawaii's superfood is poi, which is pulverized kalo or taro. Yeah, that's what I like. Another good Hawaiian running food is kulolo. See, he's chewing really fast right now because he's leaving me hanging dry right here without my co-host. The key to a good podcast is effective rambling. So that's why at the Satisfy camp, I was at the, there was this other guy there. His last name was Black. I can't remember his first. Chris Black. He is a pretty famous podcast host, I guess. And he was giving me some tips. And he basically said that keep doing what we're doing, talk about our life, ramble. Effective rambling. TM, that's my trademark. I am coining that. But that is what I'm doing right now, is effective rambling. He's almost done.
Oh, gotta wash it down with a ketone.
That's freaking gnarly.
I'm a crazy man. If you don't know, I'm a crazy man.
Yeah, he's
Watch
wild.
This is gonna make you feel some type of way watching me. How's that musubi plus ketone IQ?
Honestly, I'm sweating right now. Maybe Ketone IQ will sponsor us after this.
Oh, tastes like pure energy, pure high performance energy.
Yeah, it tastes like what I imagine the Matrix tastes like.
It's actually a pretty good tasting ketone, I gotta say.
I mean, we used to be sponsored by Delta G ketones, which I think apparently are the superior ketones, according to science. But,
according to science is a loaded term since COVID.
More effective.
Ever since COVID, everyone's like, ooh, science, trust the science. But what is science? It's really the scientific method and a bunch of people getting paid to
Let's not get into that right now.
All right. Yeah, this is crazy.
That can go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, my family loves rabbit holes. We dive right in, baby.
Mm-hmm. And I look at the floor and don't engage.
Wise.
Yeah.
Man. Well, yeah, you just mentioned your Satisfy camp that you were at, and tell the people, where was that? It sounded really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the reason this podcast is late is because you were in Austin, then we went to the Big Island, and then I flew directly from the Big Island to go to a 6-day camp in Jackson, Wyoming with Satisfy, and I wore my camp shirt. To honor it. Yeah,
it's got some
sick
horseshoes on it.
Yeah, it's one of their
What's on the other side?
It says Camp Satisfy on the back. Oh, on this side, this is a horse.
Oh, a horse.
Yeah, a horse
and a horseshoe, and then show the people the back.
Okay.
This shirt is a straight up collector's item. You might find this in a museum someday. Oh yeah, it's part of history right there.
Yeah, I don't think they're making these for sale. This was the first ever athlete camp, and a sign
first ever.
Yeah, and a sign that they're really trying to professionalize their trail team. Was super fun. We did some legit running. And I'm like so blessed that I've been to a bunch of different training camps, both with Solomon and Brooks, and I've never been to a camp quite like this. It was awesome. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was weird.
Yeah.
But in the best kind of way.
Weird. Oh, yeah. Man. I mean, Satisfy is a weird company. For those of you out there like me, I'm going to describe what I learned in layman's terms. Basically, Satisfy is like, they're like the new cool kid on the block. They only make a small amount of whatever clothes they sell or product they sell, and it sells out like instantly.
Yeah.
And it's their style. I've heard it described as gorpcore.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think this is like punk rock. Gorpcore.
Punk rock,
yeah.
gorpcore.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's other gorpcore that's like just wearing like 80s shoes and super baggy pants, but this is like a very specific chic yet it's gorpcore, but it's also like punk rock.
This is like
with a cowboy twist right now during this campaign.
This is like tactical high fashion, basically.
Yeah.
So that's sick. So you guys all went to Jackson. How many athletes were there?
Okay. It was me, Max Jolliffe, Janelle Licks, and now I'm going to forget some last names because everybody else is European. Matt,
Good
he's
excuse.
not, I think his last name is Lennon. He's actually not European. He's from San Francisco. Stian, definitely don't know his last name, but he's from Norway. Jacob, forget what he's from, but he's awesome. Who else? Oh my gosh. Vida. She lives in London, but she's from, I forget. Sorry. But she's
okay.
from London.
You're going above and beyond. I just asked a number, but you're giving me name by name.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So roughly like 7 or 8 pro
7
athletes.
or 8 pro athletes.
Would you say they're all pretty fast?
Yeah, everybody is fast.
So they built a pretty
It's
awesome
a legit team. It's
wow.
actually, I did a workout with the team. And Janelle, she's a sub 32-minute 10K-er. Like, she's legit on roads, not even on a track.
Damn, 32 minutes.
Yeah, so I did a workout with her.
Holy
and
shit.
I know, that's like, that's maybe
fast.
could be competing for the Olympics in the 10K.
That's so fast.
I know, and she just likes to go camping too much to actually take road running seriously. So
her name is, what's her name?
Janelle Licks.
Janelle Licks.
Yeah, and something
wow.
super cool out of this is like we were talking, she kind of does whatever, and I'm so excited, and we're just going to test the waters to see if it works, but I was like giving her some training suggestions, and towards the end of camp, she asked me to coach her. So after this podcast, actually, she's camping right now on a, she does, she's a botanist. So she goes to these locations and like catalogs plants that she specifically really likes the desert.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. So she's working like outside of Vegas right now.
That's like really interesting and smart and cool. That's like the eclectic. It sounds like a pretty good representation of the eclecticness that is like satisfying.
Yeah. Super cool. But she asked me to coach her, and right after this, I'm going to go through, she's running Broken Arrow, both the ascent and possibly the 23K, if she's feeling healthy enough. So I'm really excited to coach her. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to work with a super high level athlete because it becomes a more collaborative effort.
Is she the only other lady on the team?
No, there's actually one more. Her name's Vida. She came a little bit later, but she is new on the team also. Janelle's been there for a little while.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, super exciting.
Anyone else that you really connected with while you were there that you can like describe?
I connected with each of the athletes. I got to be with Stian when I was shooting for Satisfy in February, which was really fun. Also, like, we cracked up the whole time because I couldn't really talk about it on the podcast because I hadn't announced Satisfy yet, but I went to February in Montana to shoot photos, and it was like negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit the whole time. And we were shooting in shorts a lot. So Stian and I got to, and he's
So
from
cold.
Norway, so he was completely fine.
Got that thick blood.
Yeah, I was messed up, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the photos from that. I bet
know.
that's probably so cool.
Yeah, so we like had some inside jokes, which was really fun. I got to meet Max for the first time, who like, you know, when there's a big social media presence around somebody and a lot of hype, you never really know. I was actually like, you know, I wonder if I'm actually going to like this guy, you know, or if he's going to be like all like, you know, and this is me, my own judgment. I was like, maybe he's going to be like super LA, but he's awesome. So down to earth, just wants to help out. You're actually wearing his King of Moab shirt.
Oh yeah. This is sick. This shirt, King of Moab, with this deer skull on it. Check out the back.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Sick shirt.
I do like it a lot. And I'm also wearing my Satisfy shorts. Look at that.
Yeah.
And like these are such ballin' shorts. I don't even want to take off the tag, you know.
I know. He said that this morning. We went
like
for a dog walk.
Pretty sick. You know, I mean they're like nice, you know.
They look
it's
good.
Like if I ever run into a tight spot financially, I have the tag on these bad boys. It's like good as gold, you know.
Yeah, don't tell them that. That's super not allowed for me to resell.
I'm not gonna sell them. I just think they're so sick. I want to treat them like they're brand new, probably every single day.
There might be equity in those since they make small batches.
Yeah, they're collector's items.
Yeah.
Honestly, I put them on. I feel pretty fresh. I feel like I need to redo my whole wardrobe and become more fly.
Dude, that's how I feel there. Everybody, you know, I am such a trash person that I'm definitely like, thank God Janelle was there too, because she's another trash person. She's like me, you know, she's living out of her car a lot of the time. And I'm like, hell yeah, sister. That's my vibes. But,
hell yeah, sister.
Everybody there is like so stylish, and, me and Janelle, everybody went to a cowboy bar and like dressed super nice, and neither Janelle and I really like bars, so we just like hung out outside. like the two parents, it was like dressed not as nicely as everybody.
Like the bouncers smoking cigarettes outside.
Yeah, we were hanging out with the bouncer, but actually we were just chit chatting.
You're just being a professional athlete and not partaking in the cigarettes, but just
I know,
in the
or
ciggy
the
circle.
alcohol.
Yeah. Outside of every bar, there's like that circle of people that just chain smoke, and we were standing next to some people smoking cigarettes, and we kept having to like move a little bit to avoid the smoke. So that is true. But yeah, I'd say I connected with everybody. I had like cool moments with everyone, and yeah, it's like it's fun to be challenged in ways outside of running. I mean, obviously I was challenged in the running ways, which was super fun. I kind of like, we did a lot of running. You said that twice now. You got to elaborate on what a lot of running means to you, because everyone outside of you is like, a lot of running might be a 50K. Yeah,
and with Solomon, I was doing, when I went to Solomon camps, we were literally doing 50K every day, which was insane. But like with Satisfy, it was like, 15 to 22 miles a day.
It's pretty huge.
With one day with 8 miles, but it took 2.5 hours because of all the snow. And then one day was just a photo shoot day.
So like 15 to 18 in snow every day.
Yeah.
That's extra hard.
That's crazy.
That's at altitude in Jackson, Wyoming. Have you ever seen Jackson? It's like, you've seen Jackson obviously, but like it's so steep. That's where the Grand Tetons are. The Grand Tetons, which is a French term. Guess what it means? Titties, yeah.
Yeah.
We love those.
I know, we love those. Yeah, I learned what that was through the French people. They love that. They everybody was calling them the Grand Titties all weekend. But it was. Yeah, we didn't get that much vert because we had to stay pretty low because I mean there was snow everywhere. There was so much snow. But yeah, tons of running. We'd like wake up, breakfast, little meeting, run for 2 hours, lunch, then immediately run again for 2 hours, and then like do other stuff. So, but I was going to say so first I was challenged in the running because everybody, for the first Vida was one of the other women on the team was she just raced a lot. So she wasn't feeling that good. So I basically ran with the boys for the first 2 days before Janelle. She was a little bit late. But yeah, so I just latched on to this group. I took up the caboose and just held on. And it was to the point where I was, conversational. But, I was chit-chatting the whole time. But, I was having to work to stay up with the group, it was a good place to be. I think it was good practice to just like latch on to the back of a group on techie trails in the snow.
Latch onto the caboose.
Yeah, it was fun for me.
Yeah.
And then also to be challenged in like creative ways too. I always say the Satisfied team, it's like a group of creatives who also happen to be really fast runners, but like a lot of them are creatives first. And,
Yeah, I heard they made some pretty extraordinary stickers for this event.
Oh yeah, like the Satisfied got in trouble for some of the stickers they made. I don't know if I should repeat them. I posted them on my Instagram at one point, but let's just say Diamond Cross Ranch was where we were staying, was not happy about the stickers we were posting.
It had to do with the long, slow distance acronym, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're not allowed to explain. I mean, you could put it together.
Yeah.
It's nothing bad. It's just a funny punny.
No, it's just a funny thing. But I understand why they were upset, because like I feel like they didn't want to be liable.
They didn't want to be perceived with LSD.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, duh. But your comment was that it's kind of a big deal for your business to be branded with something like that. So you don't want to like put the wrong message on a different business.
Totally. And the hilarious thing about that me and Janelle were talking about is that it's hilarious that like we've taken on the persona of like LSD and like psychedelics and like whatever, because all of us are sober. I'll drink a little bit. I'll have like one drink occasionally, but we went to the bars and everybody was drinking water. We were just taking up space and playing pool, and nobody was ordering alcohol. And it's like the irony in that is hilarious.
That is funny. That's a pretty cool bar, Jackson, Wyoming. So yeah, you went to the old cowboy bar where like old cowboys used to actually go and tie up their horses and then go into this bar and hang out.
Totally.
They still have the tie posts, for the horses.
They still have the tie posts, and there's still a ton of cowboys in there. Like when we did the photo shoot day, they hired a bunch of cowboys to like be in the photos, like real cowboys, and like to handle the horses, and they were like swinging around ropes and
just swinging them around.
They were talking about the cowboy bar. It was hilarious. They were like, oh, maybe I heard one of them say, they were like, they were both hired, they knew each other, but were trying to figure out the last time they'd met each other. And they were like, oh yeah, I think I saw you at the cowboy bar recently. And I was like, oh shit, cowboys actually go to the cowboy bar. That's awesome. Yeah,
Jackson's a really cool town. It's got a really fun nightlife and like an amazing like, it just has amazing mountains, amazing natural resources, the skiing, everything. And those mountains are extreme.
They're legit.
They're really steep.
So amazing. We were socked in for most of the time. It like basically snowed every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
But and so what else did you do there besides running and hanging out?
I mean, that's most of what we did. I gotta say, the food was probably the highlight of the camp.
The food. That's what I was going to ask about next. So
fed like this.
Really?
In my whole life. Yeah. So there was, we're there. It was a 6-day long camp. Every meal they hired a professional chef, where the entire kitchen was gluten-free. I have celiac disease, so that's important. And they, it was every day, like multiple protein options. There's a vegan option for the people. There was like legit gluten-free sourdough bread. a actual gluten-free cake every single night, cake or pie, both for lunch and for dinner. So I was having like, I kind of go crazy when I see gluten-free desserts because I have a sweet tooth and I don't get to eat them that often. So it's almost like, what's the word? Compulsive. Even if I'm not hungry, I have to get the gluten-free pastry.
Yeah.
But, and I was getting cake and pie twice a day. Highlight, you know, that, but like really original stuff, all good, fresh food, all super healthy. It's like the best I've ever eaten in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And something amazing about this camp is like, I've been to other athlete camps where like food is, first of all, I've been to like athlete camps where like I have to bring a bunch of bars and stuff because I know I won't get fed that well. Mm-hmm. It not only is like the meals like far and few between with the amount of running, but also with me being having celiac disease, I went to a camp not too long ago where like I was running 100 miles a week and the gluten-free option was like a lettuce wrap. And I was like,
oh my God.
Like just like a sandwich lettuce wrap 2 days in a row.
That's insulting. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's hard with big events. There's a lot of athletes there. I get it being gluten-free. But the point was that, like, being around a bunch of athletes, having enough food, and then also being a bunch, like, damn, dude, this group could eat. And that was cool to be around. You know, there's always, sometimes when you're on a team, like, it's weird around food, especially when I was, like, running collegiately. It's like, you know, it's almost like, who can eat the least amount. And this was like, oh, everybody, including me, is having 3 plates of food and dessert. And I was like, yeah. I was kind of inspired by that. It's cool to be around athletes who eat like, oh yeah, this is what it means to eat like an athlete.
Yeah. I mean, that's so much better for you.
I know.
Physically. If you're starving yourself and you're trying to run extreme distances like that, you're basically just setting yourself up for an injury or, you know, to plateau your fitness level.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like that is something that's really wrong with society. It is, you know, the expectation that you shouldn't eat that much, no matter what your physical output.
And I think it's getting much better.
Yeah.
And just being around a whole group of athletes that, you know, all of us were having. So it was almost like who can eat the most, you know? Yeah. And it felt honestly super empowering. And that's cool. Don't think I've been around a group like that, especially a group of other women like that, even though there's just 3 of us where we're just like, I was like, hell yeah. Like we all have giant portions of food.
Yeah. Housing, food.
Yeah.
I have weird portion perception. Whenever I'm eating, I try to feed Kat as much as I eat, and I don't realize that she doesn't eat as much as me. But you know, we're dealing with like a pro athlete here, so that's where my mindset is like, you need to eat extra. Like, of course you need to eat as much or more than me.
But I do. It's just what we eat looks different.
Yeah, you eat like 8 meals a day.
Yeah.
And I eat like 3 maybe.
Yeah, you eat 3 like massive meals where like if I made myself a portion that big with you, it would, you know, I would just like not eat it. And then I'd eat the same amount and then just be hungry again. Yeah. In 90 minutes.
That's so cool that you got to go to Jackson and have such an epic week.
I know.
Wow.
It was so cool. And, you know, I think the other fun thing to take out of this is like, you know, again, I'm like so blessed that I've gotten to work with a lot of big brands. And that's been cool to bring this experience to Satisfy, you know, where in other brands I felt like kind of a small fish. And Satisfy, because I have, you know, 8 years of experience of being a sponsored athlete, they're like kind of empowering me to show them the ropes, because this is like, they're just trying to professionalize right now. And I'm one of their first like signed, well-paid athletes. And I like cannot be more grateful. But what's cool about that is we're like working together to learn. They like look to me to see what they should do and how they should make the experience better and how they can make the experience better for me and the other athletes. And like that, to have a voice, that's what I've wanted all along.
Yeah.
Is I've just wanted to make an impact. And I feel like I'm getting to make an impact with this brand.
Yeah.
And I really hope this is a super long relationship because I love working with these guys. It's so much fun.
They seem more like a partner than a boss.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're helping to build something new and exciting and cool. And you do have a lot of experience. Like every brand you've ever been with, you like go above and beyond and join all the meetings and try to help people and give them input on their product and how to grow the business, even when it's not required of you. So I think that it's, I think it's, you're going to go a long way with Satisfy.
Yeah, I'm excited. And, I did a lot of that stuff with the brands, hoping to make myself look really good for like contract season. And also because I want to be involved, because I really like talking about shoes, because I really like talking about different ways we can make a difference as athletes, not both in the brand and outside the brand. Mm-hmm. But, I realized that it doesn't matter, that work that I did, it's actually like these companies are so big that like the team that works with me on shoes, they don't actually talk to the contract person. And so like it didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But what's super cool is that like everybody, it's such a small team at Satisfy. I was actually reflecting on this, and this is like, again, like dreams coming true type of daydreaming. And I was like, okay, say I win CCC. I don't think if I won CCC, I could pretty much like pick almost any brand that I wanted to be with and set my terms, set the contract. Kind of like when I won Western, I could have signed with any brand. But I think I would choose Satisfy over and over again, and I think that is a cool feeling.
All right. We all know that Kat has a crush on Satisfy.
All right.
Moving on. No, I'm just playing. Keep chatting about them because they're so dope.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let's tie a bow in it.
Okay. So
all I'm gonna say is Eam Satis. I think that'll come out soon. That won't mean anything to anybody except for my teammate.
You guys, they sacrificed their youngest. It was like a ritual sacrifice.
Eam Satis.
Yeah, that was some crazy. That's some crazy stuff. That sounds like, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it.
I think that's all I'm allowed to say.
All right. Well, You mentioned, how awesome Jackson is. And I keep bringing it up about how awesome Jackson is because I was there I lived in Jackson just out of college for about a month. My ex-girlfriend and I moved up there, Jazzy and we moved up there and stayed at the Pony Express Hotel. It was a motel. Mm-hmm. And it was like the cheapest place we could find to like live. And
that's where you guys lived?
We lived in the Pony Express Motel.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You saw where the motel was?
Yeah.
And so it's right on the intersection. You could catch the bus to the resort super easily.
Wow. Which resort did you work at? The close one, like the Jackson Hole Village or whatever?
Yeah, the Jackson Hole Village.
Nice.
The main one.
The main one, yeah. Because there's another one with apparently better skiing. Like
Grand Targhee?
Yeah.
That's like on the other side. Not better skiing. Come on. So
what the locals were telling me.
It is less known about and more untouched snow, but we moved up there and I got this job with the Hole in the Wall snowboard shop there because of some of Jazzy's connections. And then I was selling snowboards and it was a lot of fun. I would get to snowboard a lot. And it's some of the steepest, most gnarly terrain in North America. Really, really epic skiing and snowboarding. A lot of epic backcountry up there, which I was like eager to go in that direction and really drop some bigger mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
But about a month in, I think it was a work break we were taking a hot lap, just, you know, your casual Tuesday morning work break. And I think I went over this icy like drop and I caught an edge or something and I smacked my head super hard. I had a helmet on.
But an old helmet.
An old helmet.
Yeah.
And so I'd already taken a couple hits. And, you know, it was just one of those things. I don't remember it at all, but my coworkers that I was skiing with were there with me, and they said that they went over this lump and they saw me on the other side, and it was a really icy day because it hadn't snowed in like a week.
And it was early season.
Which
is like always icy.
It gets real icy there.
Yeah.
Because it, you know, it heats up, the snow melts, then it cools down at night, and then it turns into ice.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing happens in Colorado early season.
After like 3 or 4 days of that, it's rock solid. And so I just banged my head really hard. So bad that I was knocked unconscious, and I got helicoptered off the mountain.
Knocked unconscious for hours.
Yeah, they said I was unconscious for about 2 hours.
Really? Your mom said 4.
It might be 4 hours.
I think it's 4.
Between 2 and 4 hours. They would know better than me. I don't remember very much, but from that. So I got helicoptered over to Idaho Falls, which is on the other side of the mountain range because they have like a more advanced hospital. And that's where I stayed for over a week. I was in the ICU for like 4 days, and then in the therapy wing for like 5 days.
What were you doing in the therapy wing? Just relearning how to talk and stuff?
Doing little brain games and just keeping their eye on me. That's kind of what they do. They like want to make sure. I did have a little bit of brain swelling and bleeding inside my brain, but not so much that it was gonna cause like brain damage to me.
Thank God.
Basically, if you bleed inside your skull too much, it puts a lot of pressure on your brain, and then they have to drill a hole through your skull to let the blood out. Otherwise, it will damage your brain. So that's why
I'm sweating talking about this.
That's why I am the way I am.
Oh my God. I've heard this story so many times, and it stresses me out every time.
Yeah. So, I mean,
shout out Jazzy for taking care of you. Still my favorite of your exes. she went into action.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it was pretty traumatic overall for me. I mean, and for her too. We both moved there together, and it was a whole, I mean, she's happy now. She's in Jackson, and she has a husband.
Yeah, she's married.
Seems like she's living life really well.
Yeah, it's happily ever after all around, but definitely a hard time.
Yeah.
For everybody, like your family.
Oh man,
I actually reached out to you at that time. I heard what had happened, and I was so scared for your life.
Yeah, I had friends visiting me into the hospital. Friends, I don't even remember them coming by, but like a few months later, they're like, "How are you doing, Carson? Like when I saw you in the hospital, you were fucked up." And I was like, "Oh man, I don't even remember seeing you in the hospital." But
thanks for coming.
Doing better. Yeah. Shout out all my buddies up there that live in Jackson. Yeah, it was an epic time living there, but there are epic consequences to that mountain because it's so extreme. It's super steep. The snow gets really hard. The avalanche risk up there can be super high because it's so steep. And it's an extreme place to be, you know? But the town is extremely rich too. It's kind of crazy. It's the highest, per capita number of billionaires or something. And it's like the richest town in America.
Yeah.
And, I think that has to do with some of their tax laws or something, but also it's just an epic place to be.
Also, it's an amazing, beautiful spot. I actually looked on Zillow. I was just curious to see what prices were of homes. Holy crap. Like a 600 square foot apartment is like $800,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's balling up there. But
that's crazy.
So my friends up there that even if they work in like the service industry, like they do all right because it's, you know, it's a pretty well-to-do little community. But a lot of the locals are being pushed out to the outskirts, which is, you know, there's a lot of angst there too, and I understand why. Same thing happened in Hawaii. You know, a lot of people get pushed out from their hometown, because a lot of the rich people move in and then they're like, oh, well, we can't afford to pay the property taxes, let alone like the increased cost of living. So they have to move to a different place or a nearby town.
Yeah. Las Vegas in a lot of cases.
Oh yeah. From Hawaii. Right.
Yeah.
That's like
they call it the 10th island.
Yeah. It's all the way. Yeah. A lot of Hawaiians moved there. But yeah, the town is sick. I mean, I love it there. I want to go to the top of the Grand Teton someday with you.
I would love that. Honestly, I had so much fun there. I mean, I'm kind of playing around I think I should do like a little training camp before I race speed goat, and I'm kind of playing around with where I should go. And I was like, every place I go, maybe I'm like, ooh, maybe Jackson Hole. I'm like, ooh, maybe Mammoth. A lot of it depends on housing, but really cool. It's like cool to see so many places, and I would have never had Jackson Hole on my radar.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool spots nearby too. I mean, Yellowstone is right up there, just north of there.
Yeah. Which
is its own crazy natural phenomenon.
I've never been.
And if Yellowstone's a volcano. If Yellowstone erupted, it would be
I know, we were talking about
insane.
That on the way to the airport. When you were dropping me off, you were like, yeah, if Yellowstone explodes, it's going to take out the entire country. I'm like,
I mean, at least like 2/3 of the country is what I read.
You're like, Hawaii will be safe, but that's it.
Yeah. Probably won't within the next several million years, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's like super overdue is what.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently it's like 100,000 years overdue for an eruption.
It's crazy how 100,000 years isn't that long in the lifespan of the Earth, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I was reading about it, and they're like, scientists are pretty confident that if it does explode, that they'll know like way in advance. So hopefully they'll tell people. That's the thing. It's like, where's everybody gonna go?
Yeah, who is this science being funded by?
No. Okay, revert.
All right. Next up,
list?
what are we talking about? We're talking about your training.
Oh yeah.
Training of the week for you.
Yeah, training of the week. Something that Chris Black told me to do. I was talking to him and the podcast host. I'll link the podcast. I wish I had a pen so I remembered what.
Chris Black, King of Moab.
No, that's the wrong person you're getting.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Max.
Yeah, Max Jolliffe. I'm pretty sure that's his last name, but
dude,
don't quote me on that.
Max, King of Moab, so sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Huge fan.
Do you know why he's King of Moab, or are you just stoked about the shirt?
Yeah, can you tell me why? I don't know.
He won the Moab 240.
240?
Yeah, I know.
Fucking 240 miles?
And like a pretty epic battle. There's actually a movie about it.
You didn't tell me this guy was a psychopath, too.
Yeah, he is a psychopath, but like a chill psychopath.
Did you say that he also like is a designer?
Yeah, he's designed the like apparel at Hurley for like 15 years or something crazy.
Damn.
Or like 10.
I've probably worn a lot of his designs.
I know, I told him that.
Because I love Hurley.
Yeah, I said like guaranteed he's worn some of your designs.
Wow. So, damn. So he is a designer for a surf company and an extreme runner.
Yeah.
And all around like radical
And
dude.
he designs his own apparel. Like he designed that. He also is just like really good at social media. He's talking about like trying to consolidate in the same way that we are and like put more energy into media and stuff like that. So it was fun to talk to him. And in this conversation was this guy, Chris Black, who does another podcast. I forget what it's called, but it's really famous. He like tours all over. He also writes for GQ and the New Yorker, and he was brought over to the Satisfy camp as a journalist to write about it. I
read that article that he wrote. It's pretty good. He's a great writer.
Yeah, I'm excited to link it, and he's super funny. So there's like a goofy sense to it.
Yeah.
And he told me like, hell yeah, he apparently listened to some of our episodes. He was like, keep doing what you're doing. It'll grow. Because I was like, I want, we love doing this. We want to spread it around and make it bigger, or just like keep doing it and make it worthwhile. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you guys should talk about one workout of the week. both of us. So I did this crazy, it wasn't that crazy. It was like, but it was crazy because it was the first time I've done it for a while, and the track was closed because of Kahuku graduation. So I did it on the Mokuleia airfield, and I did 10 by 400s, which I haven't done in a long time.
Wow.
And I did it. And this is a workout that that's a classic for anybody. Basically, like, 400 on, 200 off, which like walk run turned out to be around 90 seconds. Nice. Yeah, and I ran well. I was like running between 80 and 85 seconds, not on a track.
Fast. We used to call those buses in high school.
Yeah, we used to call them buses because they left on a bus schedule like every 3 minutes, no matter what. No matter how slow you did your 400, it would leave at 3 minutes, which is kind of a brutal way to do it.
Yeah.
But super fun. And I ran really well, and it was hot and it was windy, and I didn't look at my splits until after, just because I wanted to really go off effort. And yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to run that fast in a track workout since pre-hit. So,
damn.
And I wasn't on
That's
a track, and I was like excited to see what I could do. I think I could do pretty consistent, like between 77 seconds and 80 seconds on a track at that same effort.
Wow.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, it's like weirdly hard to find a track to work out on here on Oahu.
I know.
It's
everything's closed.
Why do they all close? Is it a remnant of COVID?
Yeah, remnant of COVID. They like closed down all the high schools post-COVID.
So weird. Like, if you're gonna close it down, like at least open it back up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I get why they closed it down. And I get why it's still closed. They just don't want like weirdos on
They don't want weirdos exercising. Yeah. Lame excuse.
Yeah, I mean it sucks.
But I'm also a crazy guy.
Yeah. I try to be more understanding, but it's annoying.
Yeah, you're kind. So that's an epic workout. Am I supposed to say a workout that I did too?
Yeah, talk about your workout that you did, and also talk about your trip to Indo that you're planning. What's your training looking like now leading into Indo, and why? Yeah,
so my brother and I and a couple friends are going to Indonesia to surf. Some of the most epic surf like on the planet is there, and super consistent. So we're all really excited about that. And to prepare, it's summertime, so there's not that much surf here on the North Shore, but South Shore there's some, but it's just hard to get to. So there's some tiny waves. So I've been surfing just like a classic, foamy, like a foamy log, super easy to paddle. I'm just basically trying to paddle as much as I can, because if you're in paddle shape, it's a very unique exercise to paddle a surfboard. There's not many workouts in the weight room that will strengthen those muscles, and nothing directly translates to paddling a surfboard, because I mean, swimming is probably the closest, but even swimming, you're more like barrel chested. You're kind of like, you're not like up
prone,
like this.
Yeah. Okay, I have an idea. What if I dropped you off at, even if there was no waves, and this might not be fun, but dropped you off at Ehukai and then picked you up at Waimea Bay, and you paddled like one of the boards that you're going to paddle in Indonesia from there to there? Would that be a good workout?
It would probably be a good workout. But, I mean, honestly, if I'm surfing for like a few hours, I might paddle like 7 or 8 miles sometimes.
I know.
So it's
that's why I think you should do that, because
I'm
wondering if practicing on the foamy is just like too easy.
Well, the thing with the foamy is like I can ride waves, and it's fun for me to stay engaged, and I paddle in and I paddle out, paddle in, paddle out, and then I catch a wave. It's paddle out, catch a wave in, paddle back out, catch a wave in. I can ride the foamy on super shallow waves without worrying about damaging the board, which is the biggest pain in the butt when you ding a surfboard. You have to go patch it and everything, and it's a whole process. So it'll be more fun if I actually get to surf, but that is true.
You got to be fit for this workout. Your brother has scared me. He's like made me worried for you guys.
Oh, don't worry.
I made him promise to bring you back safely. I was like, you must protect him. He was like, I need protecting.
No, we just need more surfboards.
No, you need to wear your helmet.
Yeah, wear a helmet and buy more surfboards. Right, wife? I need to buy more surfboards.
No.
So
you can buy more surfboards, but only the cheap ones.
I'm on a deal hunt for surfboards right now.
Yeah.
So let's see. Another workout I was doing the other day is like basically burpees with weights, but I'm not necessarily jumping at the top. I'll like bend down, do my push up, keep the core super tight throughout the whole push up, stand up, go up, squat up to full standing, curl up, push the weights up to the top and bring it all back down. Like 30-pound weights or something. And it's pretty good because the pop up, like getting up on your board and like, sometimes that is where you need a lot of strength because depending on the conditions, maybe it's windy, maybe there's a lot of chops in the water. You have to like really control your board and keep a really strong core when you pop up. So paddling and then the strong pop up and then running a lot is also a really good one for the legs.
You were doing like rowing in between.
Rowing too, yeah.
In between sets.
A good thing.
What was I going to ask? I was going to ask something about your training. I can't remember.
Shoulder mobility exercises. I do PT because I've had dislocation issues in the past. And since I've been doing a lot of physical therapy, like with bands and weights, very specific, like rotator cuff exercises, it really helps to not have my shoulders dislocate. They've almost never dislocated surfing except for once or twice, but that was a long time ago. And so I'm pretty good in the water to not have to encounter that sort of problem.
Are you going to do breath holds?
Probably do some breath holding, some breath exercises. That does really help. Yeah. I think with Indo, it's not that deep. It's not like super huge waves where it's going to hold me down for a super long time, but breath holding and breath work really helps your mind to sink into like a slower, like it helps your heart rate slow down. It helps you perceive time in a different way. And when you're in a really fast-paced, really high-stress environment, like if you're going down a really big wave and it's really critical and you have to do a bottom turn and cut back up into the wave, and then you have to like slow down so that the barrel will throw over you, and you have to like manage to stay slow and stay in this super critical moment in time and not like pump and like be like, oh, I gotta like survive, but instead like take a breath and like wait in there and like spend as much time as you can, not necessarily trying to speed out of that moment, but stay in there for as long as the wave permits you. That is really challenging. So sometimes that's where the breath work really helps you.
Nice. I love that description. I have another question. So like is this wave or these waves, are they dangerous for like the same reason that pipeline is dangerous, because it throws over a super shallow reef?
The reef here is not like the reef on the North Shore of Oahu. The reef in Indo, I've never been there, but I was told that it's really live and sharp, and so you can get sliced up if you're not careful. Yeah. Kind of like the Big Island where we're from, and so.
You're going to bring booties, right?
Yeah, I'm probably going to bring some booties. That was suggested to me, like even just keep them in your pocket in case if you end up on the reef, you can like walk out.
I wonder, there's like these cool, I've seen them like Vibram 5 Fingers makes them. They're like just basically like little booties that just go over your toes. Would you wear those so you didn't have to keep them in your pocket? You wouldn't wear those on the board. You're already wearing a helmet.
I don't like surfing with booties because I like to feel the board under my feet more. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't want to slice my foot open.
Because that could end your trip.
Yeah. I'm going to ask around and get back to you. Has anyone, any of our listeners done a trip to Indo for surfing?
Who's done a trip to Indo for surfing is Max.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Throw us in a group chat, babe.
Yeah, okay, I will.
I'll ask him. But yeah, I'm thinking of definitely bringing some booties, you know, a helmet that is also a hat helmet.
Are you buying a new one?
Yuki showed me a pretty cool one. She was
No
like,
way.
You should get this one. I was
Really?
Like, sick.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I think you'll like it. I'm going to bring a really good first aid kit if, you know, I happen to get sliced.
Maybe you should bring just like some antibiotics too, just in case.
Yeah.
And not just antibiotic cream, but, you know, maybe
pills.
Uncle Jim can prescribe you some antibiotics just in case.
Smart.
We got a list.
Yeah. Definitely some, like cleaning stuff to like, you know, hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, pads, maybe even like needle and thread if I have to like sew myself up.
Maybe you should get medical needle. Maybe you should ask Uncle Jim for that too. Can I have some medical needle?
Mom, can I have a sewing needle? Definitely some super glue, duct tape. Yeah.
Have you ever super glued one of your cuts together, like a deep one that you maybe should have gotten stitches for?
Yeah, I did that at Maklavena one time after I cut my foot open surfing there with you.
I did that when I super glued my knee when I was by myself in Ned when I was snowed in.
Oh.
And the doctor, when I like apparently broke through 2 layers of fascia and I super glued it just because I had to get to the doctor and I had to wait a full day because it was completely snowed in.
Yikes. Yeah, one thing, if you super glue a cut, you want to try to make sure that you don't have hair on the skin that you're super gluing because otherwise it just like gets stuck in your hair. If you can, even if you have a gaping wound, you can like shave around the cut and then close it and then super glue it. That's better.
And if you have an option to not super glue, do that instead. I mean, the doctor, because my cut was so deep, I mean, it was literally to the bone. Getting the super glue out was super painful. And it was, but I mean, like I didn't have any option, but the guy was basically like making butterfly bandages out of duct tape would have been better. You know, sometimes you have no option but to super glue. I mean, I was alone in the house. And so I was alone there and I just had to basically stop the bleeding.
Wait, tell the people how you got cut.
I was playing with Shirley in the yard, but there was like literally so much snow that I like had to go through the window to get out of my house.
Colorado.
Yeah, this is in Netherlands. Like my house there was like just above 9,000 feet. Freak snow, and I just went outside to like play with Shirley, and because I was stuck there all day, and was just like, you know, wrestling her, playing around, and I fell with my knee bent, and it hit a like really, really sharp rock, and it sliced through like my ski pants, through my tights underneath, and through 2 layers of fascia to my kneecap. Yeah.
Sure, it wasn't a knife in the ground.
No, it was a rock because I saw blood on it the next day. It was just like a really, really sharp rock. That had but I fell like, you know, because I'm in snow, it's super deep, and I fell like 5 feet directly onto this rock.
Oh.
Yeah, with my knee bent. So.
What the heck? You're so durable.
Not really. I got stitches. It was like super brutal. Like it's a pretty gnarly scar right there because I had to. Here, you can see it right there.
It's not that bad.
Well, it's pretty bad.
I can definitely still see it, but it's only like an inch long, or 2, maybe 2 inches.
But the thing was, it was super deep. It went through. I had to get 2 layers of stitches. And apparently, you know, it's such a it wouldn't have been so fat. It's like pretty thick if I didn't super glue it.
Yeah.
Super glue is a bad call, but my only option.
Yeah.
How long do we have right now? How long we've been yapping?
We're at 55 minutes.
Nice. Cool. Do we want to talk about trying to hack the Instagram algorithm and some of the things that we're trying to do?
The all-seeing algorithm eye. It's like,
Dude.
yeah, the overlord of all media that goes out.
I know, it's crazy. We're just trying to, this line of work is so funny because I am having to do all other kinds of things to try and like support this dream, and Instagram is a big one, and we keep like going in waves of getting inspired trying to hack the Instagram algorithm. But neither of us are very good at it.
Yeah, yo Zuck, throw us a bone here, man. Like, help us figure out how to do this thing.
I know,
and get discovered properly.
There's not like a lot of good resources out there unless you pay money for them.
Well, we were talking about like what kind of works and what doesn't work. And like, I think a lot of people enjoy it if you speak to them directly through the phone. It's not like you're like, just like, a quick like selfie, like I ran today or whatever. It's like telling people like, you there, like, what did you run today? And like getting them engaged that way, like trying to,
and there's the thing I like, don't really want, that doesn't feel like me. Does it feel like me to you?
I mean, everyone does it in their own way. Like our friend Rachel Rogerson she's an awesome coach. She does like,
she's a lifting coach,
a fitness coach.
Yeah, Reform Rachel.
Yeah, Reform Rachel. She's hilarious.
Dude, honestly, she one of my favorite accounts.
Epic shit on there. And
I know.
She's always like yelling at the camera, like snapping a band, like, whoopsh, you!
I know.
What are you doing? Like, get back into the gym! And it's pretty epic. I mean, maybe you're not quite like that, but I'm sure there's a type of Cat Bradley runner cat like brand thing that you could do that is like, well, you got to snap people out of the trance. They're like in a trance. And that's why I think when you're opening the Satisfy box on that one reel with like a big knife, people are like, oh, she's using a huge knife to open this box.
Well,
like,
that's the thing. That wasn't even on purpose.
That's
it's just
dangerous.
a knife that I grabbed.
Yeah. But I told you to use that knife because
I grabbed that knife and you told me to use that clip of me with the knife.
Okay.
That was your brilliance.
You were like ripping them.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to use this. This knife scene doesn't make any sense. And you were like, no, this is what's gonna grab people.
I mean, it's like a hint of danger. It's something that's gripping.
Hint of danger.
Yeah, or something that they haven't seen before, like a novel sort of scene. That's what I assume. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
you people out there that know more than me, can you correct me if I'm wrong? Because
I'm
really curious.
Tips in the comments. Also, tell me what you want to see. And like we were talking, it's interesting that like Shirley, we'll post like two different things, one of Shirley, one of Momo, and like my stories, and like the story of Momo will get literally 3 times as many views, like thousands and thousands more views than the one of Shirley.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like Momo, the story that I posted of her yesterday got like 7,000 views, and the ones that I post of Shirley get like 2,000 tops.
Wow.
2,500 maybe. I know.
Crazy.
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Momo is like a funnier dog, though. Shirley's funny in her own way. She's just like kind of intense.
You've posted a lot about Shirley online.
Yeah, for
so
like
maybe
8 years.
Maybe the algorithm is like, oh, we've seen a lot of this dog. Like, here's a new dog. Show us more of the new dog.
Yeah, but like the internet has seen a lot of like Loki, the wolf dog. It's the Instagram, right?
Yeah, Loki. What are you doing that we're not doing, man? Loki, drop a hint in the comments.
I know. I should reach out. How'd you do it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a full-time thing. You got to be super consistent, and you gotta, even when you have a bad day, you gotta like turn that into more. You gotta like tell people like, hey, I'm having a bad day.
Hey, I'm having a bad day. Like that.
Well, so
hey, you.
What Rachel did, that's honestly was really amazing was she was like, hey guys, I'm going through some shit. Like, here's what's happening. And so even though I'm going through it, I don't feel like it, I'm still going to do it. Like, and you got to also. And she used herself as an example, which was brilliant. You know,
Yeah.
that's, I feel like people like are like, oh wow, she's not like a perfect specimen that never falters at all, because everyone has good days and bad days.
Yeah.
You know, you got to
really,
just be okay with sharing the bad days too.
Dude, should we share about how bad Saturday was for me?
Remind me what happened Saturday.
When we went running together with the dogs and I just like couldn't hang at all.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what we should have gotten on video.
Yeah, I mean, in the moment, you got to be comfortable with be like, I'm bonking. The cat was bonking harder than I've ever seen her bonk. She was she was still in a good mood. Sometimes she's hangry, and we don't need to talk about that on the podcast. But she was bonking and like bubbly and happy, just kind of acting like kind of like a drunk toddler.
I
something.
felt drunk. I was like dizzy. It was crazy.
Do you ever bonk? This is for the listeners. Like, do you ever bonk and you feel like you're kind of drunk? Because like I feel that way sometimes, or I feel sad or like hopeless. But then you eat something and it's all of a sudden you're like, huh, I'm sobering up, or like I feel happy again.
Yeah. You know what it was, I think, is like I had that really big workout on Friday, went hard. Then I had a lift and a bike double. And then you were at a party. So then I didn't fend for myself that well for dinner.
Oh, yeah. You just had like some macaroni.
I had like 2 bowls of pasta, but that's it.
Feeding yourself like a drunk toddler.
Yeah.
On a weeknight. I'm home alone. I'm eating pasta with 1 shrimp in it.
Butter news.
Yeah. Got to wrangle this one in. The problem was you got used to all those really high grade, Satisfy chefs.
Honestly, that was a problem.
Yeah.
That was like,
They spoiled you.
I've been craving cake all week long. I've been like, I don't have cake for my dessert. What is this bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah. They really spoiled me.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
Your running crush.
yeah,
Satisfy. Yeah. Well, is that everything on your list? All the ideas that we formulated?
Yeah, I mean, there's one more, but I don't really know how to transition into that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good that it's important to talk about, and it's about your athlete who passed away recently, and so it's a little bit of a turn, but it's important to talk about.
Yeah, and I just, it's on the list. I mean, it's been like a couple months since he passed away, and when you're as a coach, I develop pretty close relationships with these athletes. I really open myself up, and they really open themselves up. I talk to these guys like almost every day. They're really meaningful, fulfilling relationships for me. And it's hard I imagine that therapists feel this way too. However, I'm sure like in therapy school, they have boundaries around this, and they like teach ways to cope this, but they don't teach this. And like when I'm getting like my coaching certs, they don't, this is something that like I think isn't talked about. And I mean, I have never talked to another coach that this has happened to, and I talked to my coach about it. And but yeah, I had an athlete pass away suddenly a couple weeks ago. Somebody who had an amazing impact on his community on the East Coast. Was over the years and years I coached him, we became friends. And even though I never met him in person, you really get to know your athletes. And something about his passing, it was traumatic, and it was sudden. And then something about me not quite understanding where I stood and where I belonged in that. I wasn't in his community as his coach. I'd never met him in person, and yet I felt close to him, and I felt like I didn't have, I didn't want to overstep and be a burden on his community as they were grieving. And yet I felt kind of solitary in my grieving, and like I couldn't lean on my athletes who knew him. And then I also just had to jump right back into work, and I found out, and then I just jumped on another athlete call, and I kind of pretended like it didn't happen. And I felt really weird since then. And I felt like not acknowledging him was not fair to him as someone who's a really, really amazing person. And sorry, I didn't mean to cry.
It's okay.
But yeah,
It's okay to cry. I mean, you crying is, in a way, it's like honoring his memory, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and thanks. I'm actually like, he as a person and as an athlete contributed a lot to me. He was somebody that has really encouraged my business, and me as a coach. He really was encouraging me to grow and gave me the confidence to grow my business a little bit more in different ways. And he was, again, as a friend, just talking to me about that, just because he thought what we were doing was great and he wanted to see it spread. And also somebody that, I was somebody that he could lean on. I ended up taking a lot of calls outside of our coaching relationship because he was going through a tough time. And, again, through his vulnerabilities, you get to know him as a friend, and, he's deeply missed by me and his community. And, I just wanted to give a moment to acknowledge Danny Hartman and the impact that he had on the East Coast running community, and through me, a lot of other athletes. And I'm grateful to have known him, and I'm grateful to have coached him, and I'll never forget that relationship. So I just wanted to give that space and to express, it's a weird relationship, coaching. And it's a tough one to navigate when you get to know people so personally, and it's hard to know where that line is. And, but I think it's worth it. Clearly I wouldn't change anything about that friendship, even though it led me to feel really confused and sad when he died. But I just wanted to take a moment to say thanks to Danny for the impact that he had on me and the rest of my athletes who knew him. He would reach out to other, he just wanted to get to know the athletes that I coached too, even if they were 5,000 miles away. And the world is better because he was in it, and the running community is better because he was in it.
Danny, you're very loved all the way up in heaven.
Yeah.
Thanks for being around while you were.
Yeah. Thanks. All right.
Well, with that, adios, everybody. We love you. Thank you for joining us. And if you knew Danny and you have any fun memories of him, ways that you remember him personally, then please share that with us, with your people, with Kat's limited experience with him. I mean, she helped him through ultra running, which is some of the hardest challenges you'll ever experience in your life. And you were basically helping him to prepare and kind of along with him on these journeys in a lot of ways. So you knew him in that context, but I'm sure there's 1,000 thousands of other contexts that people knew him. So that's really special. If you knew him in a different way, or even the same, or in the ultra running context, and you have any good memories, please share it with us and with everyone.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's keep remembering Danny. All right.
All right. Aloha, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Yo.